Hipper here. So today we're taking a look at the new Tier 7 Russian heavy cruiser, the Riga. And I'm using an agile build on it for this match here with Makarov, Takao and Baltimore. And then I have Ingenious, full speed ahead, Velocious, steer clear and fully packed. So on the ship I have aiming systems and steering gears, and the last one here is important. It lowers your reload and you're going to need that. So I have 3 of everything with fully packed, and that's important on this thing because you get 3 radars and 3 heals. So artillery, 16.5, 13-second reload and only 5,700 AP damage, 2.5 rudder shift and 38 knots, but a huge turning radius. So it is agile, but just try not to turn in it, which is really not anything that agile cruisers are good at in the first place. So look at the armor here. The bow, you have an icebreaker, and that's so thick that no one can overmatch it, which is great. But look at the citadel here. Do not show broadside in this thing like any other Russian cruiser especially. And notice the bow and the stern, the top part is very thin armor, so you can get citadeled through that way. By most battleships actually, but you do have the icebreaker to take off like the grunt, and you can actually bow tank Yamatos with that thing. So let's get into the meat of it here. I have an agile build on the ship here because all builds are actually pretty good. Also Kuznetsov speccing into AP, but I'll show you later why I don't run that build, and that's actually what this video is about, because this ship pretty much gives up everything except radar to have awesome armor-piercing shells, except for the fact that they are not that awesome. They're actually very, very disappointing. And there's no point shooting high explosives in this ship here. You have nearly 14-second reload, and if you want to shoot high explosives, there are much better ships for that. So this is, for me at least, an armor-piercing ship, and I love armor-piercing ships, but this thing here is just, well, honestly, it's not very good. The shells have no bite to them, the AP shells that is. Look at that, 4,000 damage on a broadside Bismarck. Very weird. Yeah, I cannot really explain it. And I actually delayed this video here because I've played this ship for probably a dozen matches, and it's the same thing all the time. The armor piercing is just very underwhelming, and like I said, this ship gives up torpedoes and has a huge turning radius, so it really should be living off its armor piercing capabilities, but it doesn't. You have to try really hard to get some decent damage using AP on this ship here. It's a tough one, and especially against battleships, I just don't feel I get anything out of the armor piercing. And here I'm trying different spots on this Yamato because, like I said, I've tried this ship a lot before, and I just cannot get anything decent out of the AP shells. So I'm shooting places you wouldn't normally shoot because I am testing basically. And yeah, we get some hits, but I expect more out of 220mm guns. Had I been in Hipper here, I could have turned broadside quickly and fired all 8 guns and chunked this Yamato here for probably 10 to 12,000 damage per salvo. And although Riga is doing okay, I just don't think it's anywhere near what you give up to be able to have this ship here. Like, AP is all it can do basically, and it's just not very good at it. I don't know if that's intentional or what's going on, but it's not fun, that's for sure. It's a very disappointing ship actually, and I wouldn't bother grinding for it at all, because you might as well play this one here, the Alaska. It does much better, and it's pretty much the same ship. Actually, Alaska is better, much better, although I don't like Alaska much. But if you like this kind of playstyle here, well then pick Alaska. There's no reason to play Riga. This ship is either some kind of bugged there's something wrong with it, or Wargaming intended for it to be this way. And if that's the case, then there is no point grinding for it, really. And if you want like a good AP ship that actually also comes with torpedoes and is also Russian and is, in my opinion, much better than Riga, then just stop at the tier 6 Tallinn. That's so far is well, certainly better than Riga. Not as good as Hipper or the other AP tier 7 cruisers, which is like understandable since it is tier 6. But if all you're looking for is an enjoyable AP cruiser, then I would go for Alaska or Tallinn if you want to do the Russian line. Riga is just, well, honestly, it's half-baked. There's something about this ship that's off. And another weird thing about this ship is that it has really, really long secondaries. And they are super inaccurate. If you thought Bismarck was inaccurate, and I look at this here, like, come on. Yeah, don't know what's going on. Anyway, like I said, if you think Bismarck is inaccurate, well, then take out Riga for a spin and you'll see some inaccurate secondaries. There is no point speccing into a secondary build on this ship, I will just warn you, absolutely not. Just forget about the secondaries, they're useless basically. Another thing I wish I could put on this ship is the American Azure Lane Baltimore commander as a primary commander. Because when I face cruisers in Riga, I get so many overpens. I don't think I've ever had so many overpens before. It is actually, well, quite a worry. Like I said, I've played a dozen battles and I've had countless cruisers broadside or, you know, slightly angled and stuff like that, where you really should, especially with these guns here, well, do a one-shot kill. And all I get is penetrations. Penetrations, or over-penetrations for that matter. Like, and that's against, like, you know, broadside Mogamis, broadside Susuyas, and even Miyokos. And it just doesn't perform. Like, an AP ship, it needs to be accurate, and it needs to be able to citadel. And this thing is neither. And also the damage is underwhelming. Like I said before, this thing has 220mm main battery guns, and I think Hipper does better AP damage. And as you see, I'm shooting AP this whole game because I want to show it from every angle, every possibility. Because normally you would shoot AC at this thing here, but I'm sticking to AP because, like I said, I want to see what it can do. And as you can tell, it's just not accurate. And the penetration is off somehow. I don't know if it's intentional or not, like I said, but it's certainly not something that I enjoy. And like I said, I have an agile build on the ship here, and I promise you there is no difference if you put a full AP build on this thing with full penetration and full AP damage and reload, what have you. It's still off somehow. It's just not doing what it's supposed to do. So like I said before, if you play the Russian heavy line, then stick with Tallinn. There is absolutely no reason to go for Riga. You're just facing more difficult ships in an underwhelming ship yourself. So stop at Tallinn for now. If this really is the way the ship is supposed to be, then I don't see anybody wanting to play this ship here at all. And that's like a huge mistake on my part there. I'm not used to the butt of the ship swinging out that far, but oh well. Anyway, like I said, this is not a ship that anyone should strive for at the moment. And if this really is the way Wargaming wants the ship to be, then yeah, that's strange. So again, I get a chance to AP this Bismarck here. Broadside on from like decent distance. And 4 over penetrations on a battleship. Like, it's just strange. And like I said, there's no bite to the AP. It's a very unsatisfying ship, this thing here.
Protect that area.
If you have Alaska, which honestly most dedicated players probably do, just play that. It's much better, much better. And if you really want to play the Russian line, like I've said a few times in this video here now, just play Talon or switch to the light cruisers. They perform much better. If you want that 11.7 kilometer radar, well, take out Kutuzov or Chapayev or Ochakov or something like that. Do not take out Riga. It is good at like tanking. It's a tanky cruiser, just don't show broadside. I'm doing it here because I have a fast rudder, so I can get all 3 guns in action. But of course, immediately I pull my back end back in again. And again, a very underwhelming and very inaccurate salvo. Yeah, it's just not a very good ship. Now, I haven't played Stalingrad myself, but from what I can tell from Riga here, which is basically the same ship, like sort of, then I am almost 100% certain that I won't like Stalingrad. Something I already knew, but this Riga here has cemented me in that faith, and yeah, Talon is good. The other heavy cruisers are fine, but for some reason Riga is just it's just underwhelming, underperforming, inaccurate. Yes, it has great armor if you're not broadside. That is, if you're broadside, you will be taken out very quickly by almost anything. But like, you know, bow on like this, yeah, you can tank incoming salvos, but so many other heavy cruisers can do that. That is nothing special, and you are paying a lot for this ability here. Like, for example, you have no torpedoes. It's just yeah, weird. Who knows? So I've also played this ship with the Ghost build using Lightful and Lemonnier, and of course, yeah, it works quite well because you have like a long range on those guns. But the whole, you know, purpose of a Ghost build is to come out of concealment and then punish a broadside with your AP shells, and then when the heat gets too much, just fall off detection again. The whole thing goes out the window on this ship here because the AP is just so bad. If you sit patiently and wait for a cruiser to show broadside, let's pick a Mogami here because that actually happened a few times actually. This is not a fluke or anything like that. This is consistent behavior on this ship, and it's just weird. Like a Mogami comes out, shows broadside at like what, 9-10 kilometers. You fire on it, and it should be 3-4 citadels, and you get nothing. So a Ghost build is also useless on this ship here. So yeah, don't waste your time on this ship until it gets buffed somehow or fixed or whatever it is. But I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you out there.